Hi everyone, gracias to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a quick and easy and delicious recipe that's perfect for a busy weeknight to feed the family because everyone is going to love this, or you can serve this for a dinner party because it's that good. I'm going to show you how to make my Sumac chicken pitas. This is a Palestinian recipe that I love. I first had it from my Lebanese friend. In Palestine and in Lebanon, they call it Musakhan rolls, which is my son's name too, Musa. But anyway, this is delicious. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to begin with the thighs. I have 2.5 pounds of chicken thighs here, but I have made this with chicken tenders and it comes out perfect with both cuts of meat. I just prefer the thighs because they stay nice and juicy. I have them in a baking tray over here and I'll just season them with some olive oil. 2 to 3 tablespoons should be enough. The juice of half a lemon, salt, some freshly cracked black pepper, a teaspoon of dried oregano. And then this is sumac. So sumac is a tangy spice that just tastes so good. You could find it in a Middle Eastern grocery store, on Amazon, online. I'll put a link down below. I'll add about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons on one side and do the same with the other. Then I'll add some ground cumin, some ground coriander, and then do the same thing on the other side. Flip the chicken over and season the other side so that way there's lots of flavor. My oven is preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. These are going to bake in there for about 20-25 minutes. Once the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit, they're ready. Let them sit aside and cool while you prepare the onions. So I'm going to peel and slice 4 large onions. This dish requires a lot of onions. It's going to make it nice and sweet and add all that delicious flavor. So I slice them in half first and then I cut them into thin slices. I'll add them to my skillet here with lots of olive oil. You're going to need about 1/2 cup of olive oil for this. You can adjust this later on and I'll tell you how to do it so that way you don't have too much olive oil in your finished dish if you really care about that. So I'll also add a little pinch of salt and cook these over a medium heat for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they're nice and caramelized. Once they're caramelized, I like to add this ingredient, which is not traditional, but I love to add some balsamic glaze to this for some more sweetness and a little hint of tang from the vinegar. And then I'll also add about 2 tablespoons of sumac. That's that same spice that I was telling you about earlier. Toss everything all together and set it aside. Once the chicken cools, just go ahead and thinly slice it and set it aside. I'm going to prepare the nuts that are going to go on top of this. So you can use pine nuts, but today I'm using almonds. I soak these in water. If you do this overnight in the fridge, the peels will come out really easily. If you're doing it last minute, what you want to do is put the nuts in a bowl, the almonds in a bowl, and then just put some hot water over them and let them sit for about 30 minutes or until the water cools, and then the skins will just pop right off. Take off all those skins and discard them. Then just go ahead and slice up those almonds, dry them up really well. I have some salted butter melting in this little frying pan over here. I'll add the almonds to the butter and I'll just toast them, moving them around over medium heat until they begin to turn golden. So the darker they get, the more crunchier they'll be, but you'll have to be very careful because they can burn very quickly. Once the almonds are ready, carefully take them out and put them over a paper towel to drain off that excess butter. And now it's time to put everything all together. So I'm going to get my onions warming through a little bit. I'll add all of that chicken to them and toss everything all together. I'll put the lid on the skillet just so that way the chicken and the onions all warm through and just the flavors come together. Once everything is warmed through, I have some finely chopped parsley here that I'm just going to sprinkle on top. I'll sprinkle some of those almonds on top too. The rest I'll leave as a garnish. And then I've toasted pita breads here. I love to serve this over warm pita, but you can serve this over rice if you like. Just tastes delicious as a sandwich. Today we're making sandwiches. So I have the warm pitas. I'll put that chicken and onion mixture on top, garnish with a little bit more balsamic glaze. I also like to sprinkle a little more parsley on top and some more almonds. And I have my favorite shawarma sauce here. You can get the recipe down below. I've already shared this before. It just goes so well together. This is so delicious. And just like that, it's ready. Okay, so before we dive in and we do the taste test, I do want to say that there is lots of flavor in this and lots of calories. If you want to make it a little bit lighter, you can swap out the chicken for a leaner cut of chicken. You can toast the almonds or the pine nuts in the oven without butter. They'll still be delicious and they'll be crispy and crunchy and you'll get that texture that you want and lower calories. And once you caramelize the onions and all of that oil, you can carefully drain them out of the oil and set them aside, and you could keep that oil for other recipes. It'll have lots of flavor. I would transfer it into an airtight container and keep it in the refrigerator and use it for any cooking. You know, anytime you need olive oil, you could use that. You can use it in dressings. It's just so good. I left it as is just because I feel like all of those ingredients add a lot of flavor. But I've also made it lighter too, and it comes out really good. I also made this into rolls as an appetizer using phyllo, and I did this a long time ago. I'll post the link for the recipe down below. There are so many options to this. Once you make this chicken and onion based recipe, you can really do so many things with it. Time for the taste test. Oh my goodness. So much flavor. The caramelized onions are nice and sweet. The shawarma sauce adds some creaminess. The nuts are nice and crispy and buttery. The chicken is perfectly cooked and perfectly flavored. And I love that sumac, that herb is just so good to me, or that spice is so good to me because it's tangy. It just tastes delicious. Goes well with the balsamic glaze that's in here. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. Exact measurements are on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. If you want to learn how to make those sumac chicken phyllo rolls, click over here and I'll see you right over there. Yes, sis.